All right, guys, I promised you to do the Adventures of Superman. I mean, this issue 466 by Dan Jurgens and Giordano from DC Comics. So this is an important issue because this was the birth of someone that is on par with Superman, right? So without further ado, maybe I'm gonna spoil it, maybe not. Yeah, I'm probably gonna spoil it anyway. Anyway, so let's dive in. So we start here at NASA headquarters in Houston, right? So there's a shuttle called the Excalibur, and it's falling down from orbit, and radiation hits the people inside, right? While they are, I don't know, crashing down, and they land somewhere. They survived, if you can call it that. So Hank, that's the leader, called his wife Terry, and he says it seems that the radiation turned his hair white, and he says, "Have you seen anything of Jim or Stephen?" And Stephen comes out, and he is looking like the human. Yeah, this origin is probably very familiar to you. The Fantastic Four, the UFOs, villains of the Fantastic Four, same origin, right? And so Hank, who is a brilliant scientist, I guess, is, analyzing him and thinks because of the radiation and it's changing him. And he says, "I'm radioactive," says Stephen. "Can you do something about it?" If I access to NASA labs, oh man, am I going to be okay? Am I going to die? And then Jim is, we're going to see that. More ads. So Jim is looking like a thing. See what I did there? All right. But it seems that he cannot talk and he's in incredible pain because of all, these things are attached to him. He says, both Jim and Steve should have expired in the crash. However, just as Stephen somehow reassembled the body out of radiation, Jim's mind used rock, gravel, and branches and the wreckage of the shuttle to do the same. Seemingly an impossible feat, yet the evidence is clear. So Hank says, this is all a theory, of course, but remember that we are experimenting with the radiation when we run into trouble. And it had fantastic properties which deviated from anything we've seen before. Add the solar flares, and we're all affected somehow? What now? And so he says, well, we need to normally go back to NASA, but we haven't time, considering it was a LexCorp-built experiment. Oh no, we have to go to Metropolis. And I think about it, now that I think about it, the LexCorp equipment troubled me from the start. So Stephen here is now discovering his abilities, right? And Hank just very calmly says, of course, since you lack a conventional physical presence, your new abilities should be limitless. He says, oh, honey, are we doing the right thing? Undoubtedly. Jim's agony is so severe, I doubt he can survive long. But Hank is realizing that the radiation is eating at him too. So yeah, he says going to LexCorp is his only chance. So Sister of Lois coming, and then Clark is coming back, and then they have another visitor, and it's you, it's Perry, and Alice is not very happy with Clark because it seems that he quit the job, and he says, you heard me, Mr. News Time. Perry took your rookie mind off the streets and molded it into a writer. So how do you pay him back? You not only quit, but you have the gall to come crawling back, begging for mercy. So it seems that personally, Perry was very, distraught because of that, very hurt, right? And then we have this Intergang guy called, what's his name? Oh yeah, Mannheim. Meanwhile, our short shirts astronauts are coming at LexCorp, and this guy says, hey, I don't know what you freakos doing here, but if you're smart, you freeze before I blast you. There's some street gang slang in here. And he says, this is the LexCorp private property, and we got strict orders to burn violators. Burn. And So Hank says, well, we need to go in because and we need to talk to Lex Luthor. So the guard says, you got a better chance of seeing Elvis at Graceland. Now take Man-Mountain Mike here and beat it. So they're having a quarrel here, but then he's got call from the other. This is security center. He says, yeah, you let him in because they are riddled with dangerous radioactivity. Radiation? All right. So Perry, I know. From the city desk, he says, oh, what? 4 radioactive paranoids are invading LexCorp? So he asked Lois to come along, but then Lois says, no, I have to take care of, the food here because he was cooking. And he says, hey, Clark, can you go? Sure, Lois, whatever you want. So he turns into Superman, and Superman thinks, or Clark, kind of surprised that Perry didn't ask me to join him. Was it because I'm no longer on staff? Or does he feel the same about me as his wife does? Guess I wouldn't blame him if he did. Some things she said really struck home, and I had it coming. I treated Perry bad, more than hey, there's really are some paranormals trying to break into LexCorp. All right, so he thinks maybe not interfering because, Superman thinks that LexCorp are, bad guys. But he does it anyway, right? And he says, oh, man, Superman. Looks like a Luthor's goon is going to blast him with a wrist gauntlet. And then he wants to intervene, but then Superman's, comes between him and he accidentally shoots Superman. And then, so the battle is raging here. And bizarre. Both sides are out to attack me. And a couple of these people are even wearing NASA survival suits. So Superman screwed everything up. We're never going to get inside and get cured unless I get him and all these guards out of there. So, and he says, well, why don't you leave us alone? And he's blasting at Superman and at the guards, right? The pressure and radiation have finally got to Steven. He's distraught, almost completely berserk. I said, leave us alone. Beat it. So Superman thinks because of the radiation, he needs to act real quickly. I love that he is just, dodging it. And then great panels, by the way. So he gets the suit and he thinks, oh, if I molded it together, I got a nice cage for this guy, right? So and then Man-Mountain Mike, that's how I call him, is, kicking Superman's ass for the moment. And then Hank says, hey, please hear our side of the story. I'm Hank Henshaw. Probably ringing a bell, guys. You know who he is? Well, I'm gonna reveal if it's not. We returned from a top secret defense mission in space. One of our tasks was to test some new radiation equipment that required zero gravity for LexCorp. That explains your presence here, I guess. So he says, we need to get inside because, radiation and stuff. Everything was fine, though, until those incredibly intense solar flares scrambled our electronics. So Superman then thinks, oh no, I destroyed the Eradicator a few days ago by dropping it in the sun. Did that cause the solar flare? Am I to blame for the tragedy? Oh no, so he's feeling very bad. I like that extra layer, right? Okay, so this is gangbuster. This is a story that's we're not going into. So they're at the lab. And so it seems that Hank unable to help them because basically he thinks he's too late. Superman says, Hankshaw, you're exhausted. You got to get some rest. Rest? Look at me. If I sleep now, I may never wake up. We're dying, Superman, and I can't save us. Maybe we should try Star Labs, says Superman. And he says, no, only my brilliance is equal to the challenge. He's irrational now. Can't blame him or any of them. If I only knew more about Krypton and Van scientists. And he also says that he's not a scientist. Well, that's not really entirely true because I see him tinkering a lot with Kryptonian tech through the years and, creating incredible things. So I'm not sure why he says that. But then Anne is fading into another dimension. Steven is free and he's more powerful than ever, right? And he says, I have all these powers, all this greatness. I can do anything, go anywhere I want, even in space. So Superman tried to follow him, but he cannot. He's totally lost it. And he's too far out for me to reach now. Feels so unbelievably good, like I really belong here. It's like the sun is calling me, reaching out to me, telling me to join it so I can live forever. Then he's gone. So Superman is going back to try, see what's happening inside. Maybe, and he says, "No, I'm too late. Hank, Superman, death has not claimed me. I am, however, beyond saving, as is Garrison, my wife. I beg you, save her by using," and then he's dead. He's suffering his final ended. "Terry, I can hardly see you. Yes, the vortex of the other dimension is drawing me in. Oh no." So Hank, Mike here knows what Hank was saying, and he says, "Through the door?" Okay, so they are going to that way, and he says, "I know what Hank said, but I'm still going to give it everything I've got." And Mike is staying behind because, well, that vault. You think that's what Hank had in mind? As thick as those concrete walls are, I say it's some kind of a radiation chamber. So Superman says maybe it's like using chemotherapy on a cancer patient. In any case, Hank programmed this equipment from the computers in the other room. So she is easily now sliding into the other room, but she's almost no body anymore. She's immaterial, right? Can't feel but shake the feeling that the Eradicator is behind all this. Besides, curing Terry and Jim is the problem in hand. And but then Mike here is at this equipment, this capsule, magnetic resonant imaging booth. Warning, remove all metal objects from person before entering. Well, and so Superman is punching some buttons and something is happening. He says, "It hurts, incredibly painful, but it's physical pain. It must be working." So she is cured, and now they are running to the flying to the other chamber because of Mike, and they are too late. He committed suicide. The magnetic resonance imager can rip a watch off from a man from 50 feet away. The radiation, the pain must have made him feel that this was his only option. She says, "They're gone, all of them. Where do I go from here? Wherever you go, I'll do my best to help. If I hadn't caused this by throwing the other Eradicator into the sun yesterday afternoon," but then she says, "I don't know what an Eradicator is, but it couldn't have caused our mutation. The solar explosion responsible occurred yesterday morning. A small consolation considering. No, Team Excalibur Space was simply a tragic accident, and nothing could have saved us. Not even a Superman, I guess. Come on, Terry, you're in shock. Let's get you to a hospital." Right, and then we have some stuff here. Now, this is a great issue, in my opinion. So, spoiler, Hank Henshaw, this guy. You know who he is? He is the cyborg Superman. He comes back because his conscience was downloaded in these computers before he dies. And then, there was some kind of a mutation, and he is inhabiting robots, but he couldn't speak before basically, becoming the cyborg Superman. Now, I believe he tried to find his wife. I'm not sure if he's still alive or something, but something happened to her as well, I think. So yeah, tragic, Fantastic Four-like origin, and great issue, great art, and the whole thing with the Eradicator is nice aftermath. So I like this issue a lot. I have fond memories of it, and I didn't know that at that time it was the beginning of the Cyborg Superman, but even before I knew that, I'm a sucker for cosmic, stuff, radiation turning people into. Well, this, into monsters, right? So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about it, guys. See you on the next one. Bye.